Good morning, gentlemen. This is Chat with the Chamber. This is our podcast trying to get our chamber members more, give them an understanding of different chamber member businesses. So I want to point out our generous sponsor, Coffee Beanery. I'm having a black and white. That's my new favorite from there.
Delicious.
What are you having?
I'm just having a straight up black coffee.
Well,
Yeah.
all right. If
Awful
you want to be boring.
bold and black. Yeah.
I've got a little creamer in mine, so not as strong, but still really good.
Yeah.
So thank you.
So if you guys want to introduce yourself to me, Tyler, you've been on the podcast before, but you're not here representing Earthworks today.
Correct. Yeah. My name's Tyler Miller, and I am the president of Energy Capital Economic Board.
My name is Mike Shober, and I'm the vice president of operations here at Energy Capital Economic Development.
So if I was unfamiliar with you, what does Energy Capital Economic Development do? Like, if I wanted to start a business, would you give me a loan?
No, I wish I had that kind of money. However, I can point you in the direction of where some of those resources might be. The state of Wyoming has a grant management office, and there's potential grants, things like that. And, however, we work quite a bit with PJ Burns, the director of the Small Business Community Development Administration, and so we work hand in hand with PJ. All of her clients it's all confidential, but her office is just down the hallway here in our building. So yeah.
That's interesting. You do have several umbrellas or several subsects under the umbrella of Energy Capital. Like, for example, today we're in the rock pile room.
Yes.
For in the Fuel Business Incubator. So what is that?
At our Enterprise Center. So this building that we're in 345 Sinclair is owned by Energy Capital Economic Development. So we've got this building as houses all of our fuel business members, and we also have another building that we call the studio that we have that's available for meetings, and we have our board meetings in another room on this property.
Welcome back to Chat with the Chamber, the official podcast of the Campbell County Chamber of Commerce. This episode is brought to you by our generous sponsor, Coffee Beanery.
And the fuel mentoring program is for startup businesses or maybe small businesses that were working out of their garage or a home office. And so the fuel program is designed to kind of build a community of entrepreneurs that are starting off. We have Adelita Durier with Sprout and Scale Marketing does a lunch and learn, and it's food for thought is the name. And so she brings in different speakers once a month. ECED, or our fuel hat, pays for our fuel members one person to attend. So they get different training on advertising, cybersecurity, accounting, legal questions for small businesses. And then we have different events and activities for our business network. And the idea is to kind of build that energy and of innovation. And, there's various types of business ideas, products, services, but some of the things are the same. Bookkeeping, hiring your first employee, letting go your first employee. Those are all challenges, and because if you've never done it before, you could go next door or at the next event, you could talk to another small business owner, and maybe they just went through something similar, and they can say, this is what you can do or don't do. And so it's just that community of small businesses working together. And yeah, so that's what we're doing here at the Fuel Business Incubator. And then I wear other hats too. But that's one of the main focuses of Energy Capital Economic Development.
And we have, we're trying to really promote an entrepreneurial ecosystem is what we like to call it. So like Mike had alluded to, I mean, we're looking for startups that are, starting out by themselves, and they just need a place that's reasonably priced. The networking is an awesome opportunity for them because like-minded people, in one space. So we have plans that we're working on to, enhance that experience. So it's tough with the funding that we have to have enough horsepower to, really get behind and facilitate. We don't have an executive director of the fuel business incubator, so a lot of it is through like Mike and Marcy helping out, that are our two staff members down here. And there's a committee that also, a steering committee that also helps with some of the guidance on how those are going. But we're looking for changes in that. We're trying to grow it. We'd like to have a better experience and be able to offer a better experience and be able to recruit new talent and really get people excited about coming into this house, into this area, to where they're like, hey, I want to be there. And so in the future, I think we're going to look, as a board, and the direction that a lot of our leaders want to go is to have a place that not only for those younger people, but also make it a little more vibrant for having activities and, monthly get-togethers. Dana Miller's one of our board members. She's been very involved with the Fuel Business Incubator, and she attends a lot of, when she travels for hockey, she attends a lot of other entrepreneurial ecosystems and works real closely with them and sees the value that they have, like the think tank. She recently did one down in Phoenix this year, that they get together like once a week, and all these new startups get together, and they just, it's just a vibrant growth, high energy, bouncing ideas off of things. So it almost becomes contagious, and that's what we'd like to see. We're ever changing, and we're working on that. There's going to be a lot moving forward with that fuel. We have our board is very excited about building that out.
That's exciting. That's really exciting news. Visit Coffee Beanery today and enjoy cozy atmosphere and friendly service. Located right here in Campbell County, it's the community's favorite spot for quality coffee and tasty meals. Yeah. So speaking of some of those changes that are coming, currently there's not a boss at Energy Capital Economic Development, is there?
We currently do not have a CEO.
Okay, I didn't know the title, so boss was the only word that came to mind.
Our bylaws are kind of direct everything to the CEO, and the CEO is in charge of staffing Energy Capital Economic Development. And in the absence of a CEO, then it comes back to the president of the board, which I unanticipatedly accepted that additional obligation. So no, it's just what you do. It's one of the hats. We all have to, just do the best we can with what we have.
So with this opening, it's been open a while. Are we looking into the future of hiring that position?
We are. We've kind of been discussing of exactly what qualifications, what job description we're going to have within the community. The county has had a grant. You know more about the BREC program than I do. The county's been working on the BREC program. The college has brought in, they got a grant and did the A2A, that's assessment to action, and they could have picked anything in the A2A process of, once they had them, of what our community needed. There was a big meeting with a lot of the community shareholders, and they said that, what we think we really need is a economic development plan, because we have so many different entities that are involved really with economic development. So anyway, we've got these programs, and all of them have come up with ideas of what they think we should do in our community with economic development, and particularly what Energy Capital Economic, our role would be for economic development in our community. And so we've really been absorbing all that information we've been getting from these outside sources. It's given us a lot of time to kind of look at ourselves, look at our entity. So we're trying to develop that job description, which we have a draft of one getting reviewed right now. So so that we can really lay it out and say, through all of our learnings, this is exactly what we're looking for. This is what we want your obligations to be, so we can, because right now we know where our shortfalls have been, we know where we've had gaps, and so we're trying to fill that and be mindful when we, when we interview people that we know exactly what we're looking for, and we can try to fill all those gaps and let them know. So last thing we want to do is interview people that are not qualified for the job, or that think that they're going to do something different, and find out after the fact that that wasn't what we're looking for. So I mean, we're trying to really do our due diligence and make sure that we have a good job description, exactly what we're looking for, so that we can fill that position in the future.
Do we have a timeline of when we're going to start looking?
It's going to be within 30 days. We'll probably have advertisements on the street.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, what is economic development? I started with that question, and then I interrupted you and took you in a different direction with the fuel incubator. But what do you do?
So one of the hats is working with business startups and small businesses. The other hat, one of the main blocks of economic development that we focus on, is building business retention and expansion. And so what that means is going out into the community, talking to local business owners or high-level managers, and just kind of asking them what are some of the things some of the challenges that they have, some of the successes that they have, and just try to get to know them to see how we can work together. And it can be anything from help with who's a good marketing company here in town, to workforce development, challenges with zoning, either with the city or the county, and just have general questions. So just to try to see areas that we can assist with, either advocating for or putting them in contact with the right resource, whether it's locally here in the community or maybe at the state level. So that's a big focus. That's the second hat I typically wear. And then the third hat is usually is more of like a business attraction, recruitment. So we're pretty popular in certain circles in the country and even in the world when it comes to energy production and just some of the things that we have going on. We're talking with a company that for the last year and a half that is interested in coming to Campbell County because of the coal that we have, the amount of electrical power, land that's available. We have transportation, major highway, and specifically rail. And so we have all of those. Those are things that certain companies are looking for. And this particular company, if we land them, we're in competition with several other states. And it just takes time, and it's a thorough vetting process. Their capital investment is probably close to $1 billion. Possibly they're estimating 700 jobs, and it would be a facility that runs 24/7. They would utilize coal as part of their product. So those are the things that we're trying to promote. And so we give tours, we set up meetings with community leaders, the city, the county, the state, are all in the college, all great partners. And so, and there's many other companies that look as well. I don't hang out a sign and travel the world, but what we try to do is help those companies that are interested in whatever way we can, put the best foot forward, promote the community, promote the businesses, and make it attractive. And so the coal to products is another area that we work on quite a bit, and that facility is up and running. And we have several tenants already at the Wyoming Innovation Center. Yeah, and so we work quite a bit with the University of Wyoming School of Energy Resources. They're one of our anchor tenants, and they're taking coal and making a value-added product. And so they're doing the testing, the research, the development. So, and this is a multi-year event or project, and so their goal is to find something that we can mine coal, support the local industries, but it's actually making a product that can be sold. And so it's mined and produced right here in Campbell County. So some exciting things going on there.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and going back to one of your initial questions, you don't hear, you hear people say, what does economic development do? They don't do anything. They don't, nothing's happening. And a lot of that is because the activities that are occurring are behind the scenes. In a lot of our leads, I would say 90% of the leads, we have to sign non-disclosure agreements with them. So we really can't let anybody know, because of the signed confidential agreements, that we can't really bring it out to the general public of what we're doing. But behind the scenes, like Mike had alluded to, that Mike and I graduated from high school together in 1989. Mike's been in this community, and we've both been in the community for a long time. And so we've seen a lot of growth, and we know a lot of resources and folks to talk about. So when new businesses come in, we have a board of 20 people that are invested into economic development. So we have that toolbox and resources, from bankers to realtors to contractors, developers, that are all astute business people that can help new businesses when they want to come in. So whatever type of business, large, small, we have those resources with the board. But all of these projects that come out, the one that Mike was referring to that could potentially have 700 employees and a $1 billion build out. How long has economic development been working on that? Has it been 2 years, 3 years?
Well, we're going on our second year. It's
Okay.
been over a year and a half.
Yeah.
And that was a lead from the Wyoming Business Council. That they were at a conference, and they were promoting the state of Wyoming. There was a company that came up and asked them some questions, and they said, Campbell County's where you need to be. And so they contacted Energy Capital Economic Development. And so I've been working with Rusty Bell with the Office of Economic Transformation, who also is a ECED board member. But it's been a great partnership to work with them, and just trying to meet the needs and answer questions and put this prospective business in place. And it's probably, and we've sent them coal samples from all the mines in the basin, just to test to make sure it meets their specifications. And the one thing that's very interesting is they don't care about BTU or how hot the coal burns. And that's how our coal is mined and sold, is by what's inside it and how hot does it burn. Now, this company cares about what's inside the coal, but that's all they care about. They don't care about how hot it is. So it's a different way of looking at it, and so it's fun to do that. However, with them doing the due diligence, spending that kind of money, I don't have $1 billion. Do you?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Do you
No.
got? Because I would take a micro
I already
loan.
bought coffee, Mike.
Okay.
What more do you
Okay.
want from me?
Thanks.
Yeah.
So I guess the point is those types of investments or projects just take a tremendous amount of time to see them come to fulfillment. And there's probably a million different things that could derail this project. However, we need to put forth the effort and their best foot forward every day that we come in contact. So we are proactively very helping them wherever we can, responsive to their requests, or answer questions, and then once they sign on the dotted line that they're coming, then we can go to that next phase of the project. And even then, it will take years for them to build this facility. If everything aligned, it would be a minimum of 3 years, just because of all the permitting that has to happen, as well as construction, concrete, moving dirt, all the different specialized equipment that would go into something like that. And so that is just one example of a company that is very interested in coming to Campbell County.
Yeah, that's the point I was trying to make, is that we're working behind the scenes. And so when and if this project comes to fruition, or many of the others that already have come to fruition, the story you read in the paper is reading about this big opportunity that came in. You know, the headlines aren't what economic development did to bring them in, and it's not about economic development. And what people read in the story is like, hey, I want to go apply at this place. Look at, they're coming into town, and look at the opportunity this is going to present for me. Not knowing that ECED has been behind that for years and building it up. And so that's why a lot of times the story gets missed, because I hear it. It's not an unknown. People don't, if it's not in the headlines yesterday, they don't remember it today. So a lot of these are just long rides that we go on, and a lot of these don't pan out. I mean, we've got a lot of opportunities that have crossed our plate. We give them everything that we can do. I mean, we've got an abundant amount of resources in Campbell County, and we present what we've got, and it's up to them to make that decision. We can give them every reason that we can come up with why we want them here, but at the end of the day, they elect to go where they want. So
Coffee Beanery has got you covered with a wide range of options to choose from. It's the perfect spot to start your day or take a midday break.
yeah.
So something that I would see typically, maybe on a Facebook post or something, economic development doesn't do anything because we don't have a Costco or we don't have a Red Lobster. Are those really the kind of businesses that you're looking for?
Well, those are the type of businesses that come as a result of some of those bigger projects or larger companies. And so as our population grows, so those, I guess for me personally, if you'd asked me 3 years ago what economic development is, I would have thought Chick-fil-A and Target, when are they coming to town? And as I learned more about economic development, and I learned that those companies already know when they're coming, and they're tracking receipts by zip code and say, okay, there's enough money coming out of Gillette and Campbell County. We need to put a store in that community. And trust me, we've already had people reach out to some of those brand name box store companies. And well, I can give you an example of a company that wants to come to Gillette. So they're actually, it's called Slumberland. It's a furniture store. They have a store in Rapid City, Casper, and Billings. And they said, we want to come to Gillette. We know how much money is spent in all of our stores, and your zip code keeps coming up. And we cross that line of we want to invest in the community. So if you know anybody that wants to partner with Slumberland, feel free to give me a call, because they said promote it, ask everybody. Whether you want to manage the store, or you want to be a part owner or franchise, or they're looking for land to lease or to buy. And they said, we want to be in Campbell County. And So, and when I talk to other business owners that have furniture, retail furniture, they say this would be great to have it. More competition, the better, and that would then in turn make Campbell County a good place to come furniture shopping. So if you're looking for a couch or a sofa, you get one more store to go to and look at and see. So
that's exciting.
So that's maybe was my understanding, or what helped me realize that retail kind of follows population. It follows the spending habits of our community members that travel and buy at these different popular, name brand stores and things like that. And I do know that the city is definitely interested. I've been requested to find a breakfast restaurant, and I'm like, never thought of that before, but if there is someone out there that's interested in that, I'm happy to help them and help recruit a breakfast, because I think you can eat breakfast all day long. So
one other thing, the city has last year they budgeted to have their own economic development person, and so not to compete with us, but to fill a spot that we don't have the manpower to do. And so theirs would be looking more at the retail side of things, commercial, retail, fill in some of those gaps that people would like to see within the city. A lot of those, we don't promote the bringing in or stifling some other businesses that what they have going on or anything like that. Just like land, when we have some properties and stuff like that, we just assume that when people come in, we recommend them to other folks within the community that have realty available, so that we can help them. I mean, that's part of our retention and expansion building blocks, so that these companies that are in there, we're helping them. We're retaining them, because if they don't get business, they're not going to be retained in our community. But we're also helping them to expand, and so we promote. All the time we promote to people coming in, like, hey, we have these resources. Here's some people that could help you, and push it that direction as well.
Absolutely.
So if there was one big takeaway that you would want me to know, or the chamber membership to know, about economic development, what do you think that is?
Well, we're very active behind the scenes. So we're working on promoting that, so that more people know the activities that are transpiring within our organization, so that we understand that we have to be more active at doing that, instead of keeping our nose to the grindstone and working behind the scenes where nobody knows stuff's happening. It's probably as important or more important that people that are community partners know what's going on, because with economic development, we're not the only ones. I mean, our title is Energy Capital Economic Development, but we have the college that's working on economic development. We have the city, we have the county, we have the downtown Main Street, we have the Chamber of Commerce. Everybody's working on, and I mentioned the college probably, but all these entities are all working on building up our community and promoting our community. And really that's what we're doing. And part of these studies, and part of like our, this job description that I refer to is understanding our lane that we're in. And so we're all working together, and we're not rowing in different directions, and we're just really in the flow of going along and doing the best we can for our community with the least amount of overlap. And so I just think it's promoting that we have a ton of stuff going on. Being in the coal area and having 13 mines sitting around the Powder River Basin, Mike had mentioned the Wyoming Innovation Center. That was done by Energy Capital Economic Development. We have a full-fledged development facility for businesses to bring in like enhanced coal recovery, coal to products, anything that we've got, like I said, our leases, we've got several leases in that since we've built it, but trying to find other things to do with coal, because taking coal to a power plant, like we were doing back in the height of like 2012, we had 400 million plus tons out of the Powder River Basin. I think this year we're going to be at 176 roughly million tons. So we're less than half of what we were at our prime. So we are really working diligently at trying to bolster and fill that void of what we had with coal and what we don't. I mean, we still have that abundant resource. And so we're trying to find alternate methods of really building that. And so that takes a lot of time and effort. And that's where we're focused. Like Mike's talking about, the time that would bring potentially 700 people into. So that's where we have to spend a lot of our time working in that arena, along with supporting existing businesses, maybe more so than bringing in the retail and things like that. But I would say the biggest takeaway is just how many hats that we're wearing and supporting and getting that word out that we actually have a lot of activities going on. So the integrated test center is another one that's been going on for years. I mean, the Kawasaki's working out there, and I mean, we have Carbon Safe, trying to have deep wells, class 6 disposal well for carbon sequestration that we have right here in Campbell County, and Energy Capital Economic Development has been behind and supporting and nurturing those, along with other partners, because we have an office manager and Mike currently right now as staff. There's only so much we can do, so we have partners that we work with and bring all that stuff together. I mean, just and that a lot of people don't understand that. So when I get on a soapbox every once in a while, when I get asked that question, and I can get on a soapbox and they're like, this is what we have going on, and most of the time they're like, wow, I had no idea. Where do I sign up? Like, I had no idea that you guys did all that. So yeah,
I guess now that I've had a minute to think about it, I would say I view my role as, how do I help the people within the community make the community better? And it's not about the short term, what happens in the next year, although that is exciting, but it's building and investing in people, businesses that have been here maybe for a long time, maybe businesses that are coming, because I want to see our community be even better than what it is today. And I'm saying 20 to 40 years from now, where do we want to be? Because if you look back at our history, 40 plus years ago, coal was just getting started. And granted, we had oil, gas, agriculture, ranching, some manufacturing, but fast forward 40 years or a little more, we're in a completely different world. And we've seen just that coal bed methane that came through. That was huge 20 years ago. And, they said it was only going to last 12 years, and sure enough, it lasted about 10, 12 years. And so now we're looking at how do we move the needle a little bit, and while we're supporting the legacy industries, manufacturing, mineral extraction, coal, oil, natural gas, and now uranium's ramping back up. So the things that we do today impact what our community looks like for tomorrow. It's not about the fiscal year. It's not about an election cycle, although those things do impact our world. However, I like to think what's beyond and build this community not for just myself today, but for future generations, like your children's children, your grandchildren. And I want it to be thriving and growing and vibrant and still have those values of we help our neighbors out. If someone's broke down on the side of the road, we stop and say, are you okay? Do you need some help? those are all the values I grew up with, and I want to see that continue in our community and in the businesses that are here, because we have strong businesses that do things that may not be a legacy, but it's something that's brand new and up and coming. And so we want to support that, because they may be the next L&H Industrial, or maybe something along the lines of Tesla, or Amazon. Who knows? But I think those things that we help push forward, it moves the needle a little bit, and we want to be supportive and to find the right resources and provide education and just assistance, and be that connector of what resources does that small business need, or that person, new, existing, or potentially moving in. So they know where to get the help that they need and come here and stay here. So
It's all exciting.
Well, I've had, I wanted to throw something in there that I get pretty passionate about is I've had businesses that have said, Tyler, why would I support economic development when I'm a large employer in the county. I have a hard time filling the seats that I've got. I have a hard time getting people to commit to coming here. Why would I spend money and be a member of economic development if that's just going to create more problems for me? And so I always go back to saying, I've looked at the studies of how many young people leave our community. In the under 40s, they graduate and they move on and they go to a different community and go on to do something else, or go to college and then move on and make their home somewhere else. And I mean, it's about having family staying, giving an ability to have something to come here. And I'm like, we're trying to diversify our area, because not everybody wants to be a coal miner or a construction worker, or having new entities, new industries that they could go to work in. It's building those out and really trying to encourage those so that we have something to bring our kids back. So when they go off and graduate, there's more opportunity for them to come back to. And so that's how I really promote, what we're trying to do with the diversification of our community. So one other shortcoming that we have in Gillette is business parks. So we're really out. That's something, when Mike's trying to encourage these guys to come into town and we're having meetings with different entities, one of the things that they ask is, where would I land if and so first we look at all the commercial real estate that's available and, what people have available currently. And if there's something there that doesn't meet that, we need another spot for them to go. So several years ago, we went after a grant, partnered with the county, and we got the Pronghorn Industrial Park. So we have that one just coming to fruition. We'll have the utilities installed into that this next construction season. Mm-hmm. So we'll have actual shovel-ready locations for people to go. We are currently we have the Fort Union Industrial Park right now that has some vacancies. That's where we have our Wyoming Innovation Center. And so there's some spots out there that we can take people, but we're always looking at opportunities through economic development to find other areas that people can come in and set up shop, because if they're not going to wait. I mean, when they make the decision and say, Gillette's where I want to be, or I need to know where I'm going to be, that's going to be one of the first things that they count on, is having somewhere to go so that they can pull the trigger and get there. And so that's another area that we're working on. So we're promoting those, and I mean, we'll have Pronghorn Industrial Park, like I say, will be shovel ready by next construction season. Oh. Contracts are already out to put in utilities. They're just waiting for this white stuff to go away, and then we'll get going. So,
well, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you. I love learning about my chamber members, so I appreciate you being open to having the conversation. Anything else that I need to ask?
I think we got it covered.
Yes, thank you so much. It was
Absolutely.
great.
Okay.
And thanks, Coffee Beanery, for this delicious coffee that we have today.